Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas Taurin. Sounds cool, right? My name immediately conjures up some posh guy of royal blood. So much pathos, so much aristocracy. The tall guy in the smartest, expensive suit comes out. The servants run to him, give him the keys to the most expensive car in the world. You get it. Play music, preferably some classical music, and go to a restaurant on the highest tower in the world to drink a cup of the most delicious coffee. Kuuuuviik. The sound of your stomach rumbling with hunger. Oh, sorry, that's my stomach. I'm hungry. The last time I had pizza was last night. It's lunchtime today, and I still haven't eaten since yesterday. No, don't think I'm not a bum. It's just the way I dress. Well, yeah, I don't have a permanent place to live. I live with my dad in a trailer. I don't even know where we got it from. My daddy's a drunkard, and I'm a weed, always on my own. For as long as I can remember, it's been just me and my dad. Our trailer is full of garbage and not much room for a normal life. Dad is either not home a lot or he sleeps on the only couch that has been worn down to the bone. I love him anyway. He took better care of me than Mum did, and my mum left me right after I was born. I think my dad could have done the same thing, but he didn't. He couldn't cook, clean or iron things, and we don't even have an iron, by the way. But my dad always found money for pizza. Even though he drank most of it away, he always found money for pizza. Once he left home for 2 or 4 days. I don't remember. I was only 5, no more. My dad taught me beforehand how to order food over the phone. My favourite was pepperoni with double cheese. Yummy. Believe it or not, in all those years, I never once got bored with it. That's how I grew up. I ate pizza and drew. Sometimes I went to the school where all the scum of my neighbourhood went. Still, I loved my life. My dream in the future was to be a great architect or an artist. I knew how to draw everything, buildings and people. I took free courses, studied a lot on the internet, and was preparing to go to art college. My father was proud of me. He said I had to live better than him or my mother. My father said I was better at a lot of things than he was, but I still wasn't up to him in some areas. I didn't have any friends, no friends at all. I grew up alone, kind of an introvert. But then again, I was kind of fine with it. Only sometimes, when you've seen enough couples in love or noisy company around town, you come home to an empty, dirty carriage house and ask yourself, could it have been different? Once every 2 weeks, I tidied up the house to make it a little more cultured or something. I threw out all the trash, fixed the broken stuff, and cleaned up the dirty stuff. It would take me 2 whole days to clean it up, and then it would be 2 weeks of crap again. Dad came home less often lately. I'd call him. Sometimes he'd pick up when he was able, sometimes not. But still, he always said I was the best and that he loved me. Cool. Oh, sorry, my stomach. Here I was talking about pizza and I got even more hungry. I once went hungry like that looking for food on the street. Not in garbage cans. I was walking through parks where people would leave food on the bench after a walk. I wasn't squeamish. I could finish eating after someone. My dad had been gone for a couple of weeks and I had run out of money for pizza, but luck was not on my side that day. I wanted to eat so badly that I was starting to get angry. Then night came and I saw one of the restaurants that were closing. There didn't seem to be any customers there, so I thought I could sneak in, spend the night, eat my heart out, and get out fast when the restaurant opened in the morning. I went in through the back door. It was kind of quiet. I went into the kitchen and was shocked. There was a little table laid out in the kitchen. There was nothing there. I had never seen dishes like that before, and everything was so beautiful, fresh and fragrant. I couldn't help myself and almost immediately jumped in, grabbed a spoon and began to gorge myself on the salad. God, this is delicious. This is my lucky day. This is so damn good. It can't compare to pizza at all. Of course it doesn't compare. It costs 5 times as much as pizza. I turned around with my mouth full and froze with the plate in my hand. 4 chefs were staring at me on the aisle, 2 girls and 2 guys about my age. "Who are you? What are you doing here?" said one of them. I wanted to answer, but the lettuce leaf fell out of my mouth. I closed it again and started chewing more actively. I didn't know anyone else was here. I'm sorry, I just wanted to eat. I'm sorry, I pleaded. But a girl was already coming at me with a rolling pin in her hand. She started hitting me on the shoulders and back with it, and I yelled and ran around the table with my plate, but I kept eating anyway. The guys laughed at me, and the girl freaked out even more. Finally, she grabbed my bag and snatched it. My drawings spilt out. "Oh my God, what is this?" she asked, looking at my work. I set the plate down and started picking up the drawings from the floor. "None of your business, it's mine. Thanks for the salad, I'll get my money back," I said quickly and wanted to leave, but the other guys blocked my way. I turned around. The girl was standing a couple of millimeters away from me, and I screamed like, "Ah!" She looked at me and then asked, "I guess you don't have any money. I'll make you a deal," she said. "What kind?" I inquired. They offered to draw them, the cooks, their food, kitchen, and in exchange, they would feed me every day 3 times a day. "Are you serious?" I asked. The girl looked at me in the eye again and said, "We need special publicity. This restaurant is not just an institution, we inherited it. We're all siblings, we're related, grew up in a family of chefs, and we intend to take the business to the next level, including doing some unusual advertising. You will be our signature artist, and we will repay you with food, since we don't have any money yet," she said. I, without long deliberation, agreed. At first, the rest of the team didn't like me, especially the guys. They often said I got in the way and smelled and flew my hair. Kim, that was the girl's name, took me back to the hotel. I was even embarrassed. She made me take a good bath, cut my hair, shaved my head, and cleaned my nails. Then she gave me a chef's uniform, clean and fresh smelling. Then I picked the perfect spot where I could see the whole process at once. I drew every one of them behind my process. Their dishes, the kitchen. "Wow, that's amazing. The most amazing thing is you conveyed the atmosphere. I was smiling, angry, and happy at the same time," Kim said. Painted a special menu for them. Painted the walls in the cafe and the tables. All the guests were excited about my art. Then the guys let me sit in the hall and draw portraits of the guests who wanted it while they waited for their order. And everything they paid for my work, I took for myself. Over the past 6 months of active work, we not only made friends with the guys, but we also began to communicate more, to relax together. My name became popular, and some guests came to the cafe just to see the interior and get my autograph. I became the key thing in the restaurant, and the guys were happy too. And on my birthday, they threw the kind of feast I'd dreamed of all my life. Kim made me a special order of pizza with 5 kinds of cheese and sausages. They also stuck candles in the pizza, and my dad took them out. They sang happy birthday to you, and I looked at them all and cheered. I never thought that someday I would be able to eat more than just pizza. I could eat more than one and celebrate my birthday with my friends, my sober father. I managed to make more money to rent a decent place for my dad and me, and sell the trailer. From feeling ashamed of me, Dad quit drinking altogether. He said that a worthy son should have an equally worthy parent. Dad took care of himself and got a job. I was very happy. Meanwhile, intrigue was growing at work too. Kim and I got along quite well. She taught me a lot in the kitchen. After all, I didn't even know how to use a knife properly. For my birthday, she gave me a set of cool brushes that I had wanted for a long time. Kim and I went out while we were celebrating the holidays. She gave me a gift, and I finally got up the courage to kiss her. "What took you so long?" she asked. I abruptly covered my head with my hands. "What, are you afraid of me?" she asked. And I was like, "You beat me so bad the first time we met. I know how good you are at wielding a rolling pin. I don't want to provoke you anymore." And she laughed. All in all, it was a wonderful day, a holiday, a wonderful life. You see, sometimes hunger points the right way. The main thing is to do it wisely.
Broccoli, cabbage, carrots, cucumbers, lots of vitamins, fruits, no sugar in my life. That's what I've been surrounding myself with for the last year. Proper nutrition is boring. That's what they tell me. But you know what? I'll tell you now why I started eating like this and about the advantages that I realized from all this. Hi everyone, my name's Rick, and if you haven't met me just 2 years ago, you would have not recognized me because I was a fan of fatty junk food, sugary soda, and much more. To begin with, my family has never really adhered to the rules about food. My mother often cooked meat, she loved to fry it in butter, and we ate a lot of flour. Dad has a sweet tooth, so there were always sweets, pastries, and puddings in our house. All this brought pleasure. We bought food for 6 people every week, even though there were only 3 of us with our parents. Unbeknownst to us, we were getting fatter and fatter every year. Of course, my mother was worried about the weight, but there was nothing she could do about the whims. Besides, my father also liked fatter and more satisfying dishes. Whenever we had visitors, they would ask us why we ate few vegetables and almost no fruit, and we would just shrug our shoulders and eat on. At some point, I stopped getting into t shirts and wondered how sad it was. And then I met a girl who was older than me. She was already in college. Our acquaintance happened by chance. We met on the parking. On the way, we somehow got into a conversation and went to the market together for groceries. We had 2 identical cart baskets, only mine was filled to the brim with snacks, sweets, meats, and bread, and she had a few vegetables, dairy products, and fruit. She looked at my basket and looked at hers, and we laughed. I said, "Can you eat enough of this?" She said, "Yes, and it's also insanely delicious if you cook it right." I didn't believe her then. How can healthy food be delicious? We exchanged numbers and went our separate ways. In the evening, I came home, and when we sat down at the table, I asked my parents, "What if we changed the diet?" My dad gave me a sour look, and he said he wasn't going to spend the rest of his life on a diet that left me hungry, stressed out, and generally did more harm than good. My father firmly believed that food should be a pleasure, otherwise, we deprived ourselves of the last joy. Mom didn't say anything, and I ate quite a bit and went to my room. In the evening, I wrote to that girl. Her name was Amelia. I asked her how she came to eat this way, to which she replied that her mother had taught her. They eat like this almost all their lives. Then she sent me a photo of her mother, and I was surprised. They looked almost the same age. My mother's 50 years old, she said. She looks 30, and all this thanks to nutrition. No plastic surgery, Amelia wrote. Then she said that in medical school, they were first taught that we are what we eat. This meant that food builds our body, and the more useful it is, the healthier and more beautiful our body is. The last words stuck in my head. I went to the mirror and looked at myself. No abs, big sides, sagging breasts. I'm only 17 years old, and I already look like my father. Amelia threw me a few programs and applications, thanks to which you can easily count calories and make a menu. All I had to do was buy the right products. A week later, I returned to the market and bought a bunch of vegetables and other useful things for the first time. You should have seen the parents' face when they looked at the packages. My father started swearing. He said that I had wasted my money. He told me to return the food to its place, and then I could not restrain myself. I said I wanted to learn a healthier lifestyle with them. To be honest, I didn't expect Dad to be so outraged. We had a fight over the food, and he got very sick. Mom called an ambulance, and Dad was taken away. When he arrived after the car, we were told that my father had high cholesterol, which is dangerous for the heart and blood vessels. Diet and exercise are necessary, the doctor said. Dad managed to rebel even there. He behaved like a child, and at that moment I firmly decided that it was time to change something in my life. While he was in the hospital, I made an audit in the kitchen, threw out all the harmful products, bought more healthy food, and in the evening, my mother and I made steamed cutlets together, boiled broccoli, and placed the bread with oatmeal loaves. To our surprise, the food was very tasty. The first few days were unusual, even felt hungry, but then the body began to cleanse and I began to sleep better. Gradually, lost shortness of breath and the pulse returned to normal. However, the hardest part was yet to come. When my father was discharged, he came home and asked for steaks. We steamed the meat again, and when Dad sat down at the table, his mood fell. He refused to eat at all and went to the room. In the middle of the night, we heard a noise in the kitchen. He was looking for his chocolates. When he saw me, he started shouting that he was hungry, that I was trying to starve him, that I wasn't feeding him, and so on. My mother and I had to calm him down for a long time. We spent most of the night talking, explaining that it was time for all of us to eat right. My father was very angry. As a result, he did not eat for almost 2 days. He did not have the strength left. I brought food on a tray, and he pushed it aside. Then I sat down next to him and asked him to try for me. I once again told him that we kill ourselves every day, and if he doesn't stop, it will only get worse. Only after a week of persuasion, he still agreed. We cooked every day, and every time it was different. At first, he spat, and then he got a taste. A week later, he even asked for vegetables and fruit for dessert. We realized that we were more dependent on food, not physiologically, but psychologically. And if we release ourselves, it becomes easier. So we lived for about 6 months, and then I managed to drag my parents to the gym for sports. We began to study together. During the year, we lost a good weight, and my mother's skin became younger. She began to walk more often with my father. He already woke up in the morning to exercise. It was beautiful. If you compare the photo from a year ago and the current one, the difference will be great. And just today, my dad thanked me for making him healthier, just like the rest of us. So I strongly advise everyone to think about what we eat and stop killing themselves with junk food every day. Tell me, did you guys like my story? Write your opinion about it in the comments below the video, and don't forget to put likes, share the video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.